Hey everyone, I'm Braxton Powers, and today I'm going to show you one of the fun practice routines that I do every once in a while. So I take two sets of balls, so 30 balls total, and then I have the three magic racks in the middle. As you can see, I overlap the corners of the three magic racks, forming one big triangle. Then I rack all the balls on it, holding them all tightly. Once they're racked, I go ahead and grab my break cue, and I'm going to want to give them a pretty decent break, trying to get them spread out as much as possible. And believe it or not, there's a lot of mass, so it's really hard to get all the balls to move. But that's kind of the point, is to have a lot of balls on the table and a lot of clusters and try and figure out how to run this whole table without missing. I ended up making 3 balls on the break, so now we're down to 27. And what I'm going to try and do is pot a few balls and try and work my way around this cluster and maybe break out a few at the same time. Made the 3 ball, and then my wife needed to let the dog out to go potty. Luckily, it was in between one of the shots and I didn't get sharked. Now I'm going to remove the 4 and try and go around this red ball right here, trying to get into this area at the bottom of the table. From this position, you can see that I have shots on several different balls. I look at the cluster and try and see if I can make a few of them out of that. That way I don't have to break out as many. I found one that had a gap, shot it in the side, and I'm always trying to play position for a couple shots at a time. But I'm trying to remove the balls that are blocking the pockets. Not necessarily blocking, but see how that gray ball now goes down in the corner after I remove the red one? Same thing with the ball by the bottom right corner. So I'm going to just try and move some balls while having an insurance ball, kind of like that shot right there. See how I still have a shot at the corner ball, maybe a few in the side. That way I have many options and I can work back towards these clusters. This was my second attempt, so I'm trying to really take my time and walk around the table, make sure that I get it right because I don't want to end up doing this all day. Taking that corner ball, taking a little risk by going into the pack, but opened it up pretty nicely and having a shot at the 9. Pretty much opened all the balls except you can see I have a little bit of a cluster over here on the right side of the table. I'm going to use high left on this with some pace and try and clip the orange 13. Ended up missing, but I'm still okay. I have a few shots that I can still take. I'm going to remove the magic racks so they don't mess up my shots. And then now I'm going to see what options I have from here. The nice thing about this drill is you have to maintain your focus for all 30 balls. One wrong slip up, you get bad shape or you end up hooking yourself. So it's a lot of discipline and it's a lot of fun trying to solve these puzzles. So now I'm gonna make a few more balls and try and get an angle on a few other shots to go into the two clusters that I have on the right side. This helps you try to plan a few balls ahead. I'm going to draw this ball up into an open area in the table. When you play position in an open area, you have several options, and I'm just still trying to keep in mind these two clusters that I have. So I'm going to work a few more balls and then try and break them out again. I try not to leave the tied up balls for too long because the more you wait, the less opportunities you have to break them out. Took the shot in the corner, followed out to try and get an angle in the side pocket to come into these balls down here. Now just picking out my tip position and my speed. That way I can go into the balls. going to go firm with a little high, clip the balls nicely, opened up a few more. Now I'm going to reassess. I still have that problem with the orange and the blue on the right side right there, so now I'm just trying to figure out a way I can go into them and have another shot after as well. I'm going to take the 7 ball and try and draw off of the 8, and ended up drawing a little too much. I think I wanted to take that ball on the right side, but I have too much angle now, so a little risky. I didn't like this shot, especially with my tight inside pockets. So I'm going to take a few more shots and try and reassess. Ended up taking this stripe in the corner with topspin with a touch of left, and wanted to come a little bit further down, that way I had another angle to go into those balls, but ended up getting too straight. So now I'm going to use draw with right spin to try and spin out back to the left towards the middle of the table. So low right here, good follow through. The ball ended up deflecting a little bit more than I expected, giving me a different path, but ended up with another shot. To complete this drill, you have to get a little lucky when going into the balls or getting out of line and position. You can easily get hooked and then the whole drill is over. I'm going to take the 9 ball on the side and then come up and out using the natural angle. Went a little too far. I was trying to get more up table for those 3 balls on the top rail. Just still trying to take a look and see if I have another breakout opportunity. Ended up not, so I'm now going to stick to going with the 3 balls up top. Another thing with all the balls on the table, sometimes you have to cue over a ball or you're bumping balls on accident. So sometimes you're really limited to certain shot selection and you have to work around these problems. I'm going to take these last 2 balls at the top of the table and then try and work my way back towards the center. This one's high left, come 2 rails across, and then I have an angle on this ball up top to come back towards the center of the table. While I'm doing this drill, I also want to make sure that I'm doing my whole routine, chalking, stepping into the shot, confirming what I'm doing, staying down and following through. Came down to the middle of the table, and this is where I end up with the perfect angle on this 8 ball to go forward into the 2 balls that are tied up. When trying to break out balls, you want to pick out certain points to maybe give you the best opportunity at a shot after. You're trying to take an educated guess on where the balls are going to go. You don't want to slam them too hard because then they'll just fly around the table and you kind of can't control it. I heard a good saying, if you're going to bump a ball, try and move it about a foot or a diamond. That way you'll usually end up with some sort of shot. I ended up taking this ball. I didn't like any of the other shots that I had. Low right to come across and then back out. A little bit too much right spin. I wanted to come for the pink ball in the left side pocket, but still have a few more shot options. I'm going to take this ball in the side pocket, and then I can work a few more balls on that side of the table. Getting down to the final stretch, so I'm going to really take my time here. It kind of reminds me of like the finish line of like an 8 ball rack where you know you can win and you just have to execute. So just going through my process and making sure that I get proper on each ball, checking each angle, chalking each shot, making sure that I stay in line. Taking this ball on the side, rolling forward just a little bit, giving myself some options on either the blue 2 or this teal ball in the middle. Just trying to see which one I like more. Kind of ended up a little flat on the 2, so I'm going to decide to go with this ball in the corner and drop back for a little bit nicer angle. And see, still here I have an option on the 2 or an option on the pink. Just want to give yourself little angles so you have easier cue ball movement, not having to really slam the ball on most shots. Have a nice natural angle here, but I don't want to risk scratching in the side, so I'm going to hit it with just a touch of low left. That way I come above the side pocket. A little bit of a longer shot, but I didn't want to get close to that side and scratch. So I took my distance. Let's put a good stroke on this ball and you should make it. These ones are able to rub the rail. You see how that one slid in? Thought I almost missed it. Stayed down in disbelief. And that is my 30 ball run out drill. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.